never had, basically.
Yes.
I want to be that
there
father,
for
be
your
that
kids.
fatherly
Yes.
figure, and I've tried to do that over the past 5 to 10 years with all the cousins that I have, to be that not father figure, but a male role model
Sure.
that they can look up to. And I want to provide my kids, of course, financially.
Yes.
I remember as a kid, when we would go to the grocery store, we couldn't get the cereal
extras.
that I want, and the
Yes.
extra,
The Oreos.
right,
Yes.
the snack pack pudding. You can see
Exactly.
I'm promoting some of my brands, but some of those, things that a lot of kids, it's natural that, I
Sure.
want my cereal, I want my pudding. They get what they want.
Yes.
And we didn't, we came from humble beginnings, and, I couldn't get everything I wanted. And that's made me realize that when I have kids, I want to provide for them and provide that foundation
Sure.
to raise those kids.
Yes.
At the same time, they need to learn financial responsibility and frugality, which I'm very frugal. So that's something I want to instill in my kids, to work really hard for for their money.
Yes.
And also for other things in life, non-monetary items in life, that they got to work really hard to obtain those things. And it won't be easy, but
No,
I think that's very important, and that's what I plan to do with my kids.
Oh, great.
So.
Let me ask you, what were some of the qualities that you looked for in a partner? Because we have a lot of moms that are raising their sons alone, and that's difficult. That talk that your mom hopefully had with you, and a lot of moms struggle with that, about
Right.
dating and, girls and, the time that you need to come in, the curfews. What was that like in your house with you and your mom discussing dating?
Right.
And then the qualities that you looked for in.
Yeah, I think, looking back now that I've been married over 3 years, my wife has some similar, characteristics, and, personality is very similar. It's not the same.
Yes,
She's
of
not
course.
just like my mother.
Yes.
But, my wife treats everybody with respect as well. And that's probably something that, subconsciously I was looking for,
Sure.
in a soulmate, and a wife, girlfriend, fiance
Yes.
at those times. And, someone who, my wife smiles at everybody. She says hey to everybody, no matter
great.
who they are, where they
Yes.
come from. You can ask anybody. My wife, she doesn't have a lot of enemies, put it that way, because she's just so kind and nice to everyone. And that's exactly how my mother was, growing up. And even today, she treats everybody with respect. I go back to that R word, respect. I mean,
Yes.
it's very important, and my wife is very respectful, just like my mother. And someone that is there to motivate you, to push you,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
I call it
sure.
motivation. Other
Yes.
people may call it aggressive pushing, or nagging. But my wife is the same way. She's pushing me and motivating me on the sideline, being a cheerleader. Say, hey, if that's something that you want in life, just like my mother did,
Great.
go after it.
Good for you. Good
Don't
for
let
you.
anybody tell you can't go after it. Don't let anybody stop you from going after those things. Whether you want to be a doctor, in sales like me, or instead of going to UNC Charlotte, you want to go to Harvard. Work on it now. Start now at a young age, and help. I would tell those mothers now to understand their kids, know what they really want in life.
is so
Don't
true.
be that parent that's pushing them. I don't have kids, but
Yes.
don't be that parent pushing them to do what they wanted to do when they were that age,
That is
or
so
what they
true.
think they should do.
Good for you. That's a
But
very significant point.
Same thing with baseball. I mean, my mother didn't say, you need to play baseball. I said, hey, I want to try out and I want to go play baseball. She said, do it.
Great.
Go for it. I'm there to support you. And that's the same way my wife is today, with the different things that we want to do in life. It's a great match, and she's there to motivate me and push me.
Yes.
So.
And I tell you what you stated earlier, and I think it really should bear repeating, and that being that your mom didn't go to college.
That's
And a
right.
lot of times kids say, well, I've heard of kids say, no one in my family has graduated from college. So that was just really key, that your mom didn't graduate from college, but she worked 12-hour days.
That's right.
And you decided, you graduated with the honors in high school and went on to obtain a marketing degree and graduating with a 3.8 grade point average. And you just can't walk into UNC Charlotte and decide, well, hey, I'd like to go to college here.
That's right.
So that is very impressive, very impressive.
That's right. Actually, I was the first one that I know of in my family to graduate from
Wow.
college.
See, and that says a lot about your mom.
And I never thought about it until after I graduated. I realized, wow, I am the only one that has went to college and successfully graduated from
Yes.
college, a 4-year undergrad degree. And yeah, my mother, that was one of the things as a young kid. She wanted for us to have more than what she had growing up. and then what on her own that she could provide
Sure.
growing up. But like I said, she sacrificed. She worked 12-hour days, hard physical labor, and still does today
Oh,
at
I'm
age
sure.
51.
Wow.
Yeah. So, she, on the weekends we went to the movie theater. She took us to the movies. She spent a lot of time with us, going to all my baseball games.
Quality time.
Exactly, quality time, and going shopping. We used to go to Isla Mall, and that's where we would go shopping and ice skating there, see
Yes.
the Checkers games and so forth. So she was always there to be part of our lives and to sacrifice all of her time outside of work to be with us and to help raise us. And of course, to make sure we're in church on Sundays as well.
Good mom, good mom.
Exactly.
Nice, very, very nice balance. Very nice balance. Well,
I was going to say, you asked about the father figure.
Yes.
I kind of digressed from
Sure.
that question earlier. But my grandfather,
Grandfather.
who everybody called Pop, growing up, he passed away in 2001 or 2002,
Sorry to
April
hear that.
2002.
Yes.
But one thing, he was more of a father figure than my own father, just because I didn't get to see my biological father a lot growing up. He was always there, and he was a role model for the whole family. He was the godfather, basically. Of
godfather,
That's
yes.
right, of our whole family. And he was also from very humble beginnings, and he worked very hard to get to where he was, at that age in his adulthood. And he instilled that in all of us. He didn't have to tell us.
exactly.
We could
Just
we could
the
see it. We could see it with his
Example.
values, and his core principles, to work really hard for what you got, and
Yes.
don't try to cheat and steal your way through life to get on
Yes.
top. There's a lot of people, especially with the economic climate in Wall Street,
So
where
true.
a lot of greed took over, and a lot of
Yes,
people
it did.
got to those levels. But as you
So
can see
true.
where they are today,
Yes,
they're down here.
exactly.
And so it would always catch up with you if you try to cheat and steal your way through life, and basically be honest and work hard, for those things. And my grandfather definitely lived that life. And now looking back, so.
And it's very motivational, because a lot of times boys feel like, I don't have a male in the house, and it's nice that you had a grandfather that you could turn to and a mom that was very, very supportive. And I'm curious, meals, what was that like in your home? And did you have babysitters outside of maybe your grandfather assisting you guys, or did your mom sort of take you everywhere, and was her schedule accommodating where she could be
Right.
with you the majority of the time?
Outside of work, yeah, like I said, she took us everywhere, to church, went to the movies, went ice skating, went shopping.
Yes.
She went to our baseball games, picked me up from school, took me to school. When I was 6, she got off work. I still remember when I was 7 or 8 years old at Huntersville Elementary, where I grew up, and I had the flu, couldn't even walk, and she carried me to the car. Those little
wow.
things. And
Yes.
she's sweet. She's
Yes,
a sweet mother.
that you don't forget.
That's
That
right. You don't forget those things,
Yes.
and that's always in the back of your mind, even today as an
Yes.
adult. But also when I have kids, those things are instilled in you forever in your memory, and you remember those things. So, yeah, meals. She provided for us. I mean, we made, like I said, we didn't have the
Sure.
the high the high
Yes,
price.
maybe
high,
not the steak and
exactly.
some of
We didn't have
yes,
the filet
but you
mignon
yes.
and the shrimp cocktails and lobster tail and things like that. And even though I love those things today, but we were fed. We had 3 meals a day, and we were raised to be very healthy, eat healthy, exercise. Unlike what's missing today, but
Exactly.
back then, we didn't
Yes.
we had Nintendo, but I never wanted to play that. I wanted, on a day like today, in
Want
the
to be
spring,
outside.
want to be outside playing.
Oh, I know, and kids now,
And-
they want to sit there with their computer
That's right.
games. And the reason I asked that question is because of, as you stated, is so many of the kids now, they don't eat properly.
That's right.
I mean, the meals aren't prepared in the home, and I knew from what you stated about your mom, and I just wanted you to see it. Because so many moms now, I mean, there's a rush, and a lot of the moms say, oh, we go to McDonald's. A mom was telling
Right.
me that every day she took her kids to McDonald's. And I thought initially that she was just kidding. And she said, oh no, every day, she said, when I had the money, I would take my kids. And she thought that was a good thing.
Right.
And I thought, oh, okay. So I knew that your mom was the type of mom that was probably in the kitchen.
That's
yes,
right.
Making
Home
the
cooked
meals.
meals. When my mom was working, we had some babysitters, but mainly my grandmother. When
Yes.
we'd get home from school, my grandmother was there to watch us until my mother got home. And like I said, on the weekends, we were with mom.
Yes.
So, but always there. One other thing, going back to my grandfather, is one thing that he instilled in me and all my cousins, all his grandkids, and even great grandkids, is financial independence. You know, being fundamental.